Hey, if you're enjoying these writing lessons and want to practice your writing, then get even more writing lessons and printable writing practice sheets inside our learning program. So sign up for a free lifetime account right now. It takes less than 30 seconds. Just click the link in the description to sign up and start learning in seconds. Hi, welcome to Introduction to Russian. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Katya.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Russian writing. Russian is written using letters from the Cyrillic script, one of the most widely used writing systems in the world.
The Russian alphabet consists of 33 letters. These are 10 vowels. Of these, 5 are hard vowels and 5 are soft vowels. There are 21 consonants and 2 special letters which aid in designating hardness and softness. These letters do not produce sounds on their own. They merely augment the sound of a preceding letter.
Like English, Russian has upper and lowercase letters. Most letters look identical to each other, and the only difference is their size.
You can learn about each individual letter and get some insights into each letter and how to properly write it in our Learn Russian Writing video series. In that series, Svetlana breaks the alphabet down in the easiest way for you to learn. We'll link to this series at the end of the video.
Russian is written from left to right, just like English. Also similar to English, Russian is written in cursive letters when handwritten. It's called rapid or running script in Russian because the links between cursive letters significantly increase the writing speed.
Unfortunately, this increase in speed and convenience often results in the omission of the stress marks on the letter yo. It's continuously being omitted in modern-day Russian, making it look like the letter ye instead. This is convenient for those who are fluent in Russian, because words can still be understood based on context, but this can be problematic for new learners of Russian.
Every sentence begins with a capital letter in Russian.
Сегодня хорошая погода.
Proper nouns also begin with a capital letter.
Ломоносов, Москва, Днестр.
Proper names are also capitalized, but only on the first letter.
Индийское море, Багамские острова.
If all words in a proper name are proper nouns themselves, then they'll all be capitalized.
Северная Америка.
Unlike English, the pronoun for you is capitalized in Russian. It's done so as a sign of respect.
Вы не подскажете?
The days of the week are not capitalized in Russian.
Среда.
Neither are months, nationalities, languages, nor the pronoun for I in Russian.
Август. Эстонец. Испанский язык. Я один.
Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Russian uses the Cyrillic alphabet, which consists of 33 letters. You learned that Russian has upper and lowercase letters, and that it's written from left to right. You also learned a few capitalization rules in this lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this series, you'll master Russian pronunciation. Proper pronunciation is essential in Russian, and in this series, you'll learn it in a fast, comprehensive, and easy way. In this first lesson, you'll learn about the building blocks of the Russian pronunciation system that will help you in future lessons. The Russian alphabetical writing system is derived from the Cyrillic script, which is one of the most commonly used writing systems in the world. The Russian alphabet is made up of 33 letters, consisting of 21 consonants, 10 vowels, and 2 extra letters which act as modifiers. But be careful not to fall into a very common trap. As you're learning to speak correctly, you shouldn't concern yourself with all the letters. That's right, forget them. You care about the sounds of Russian, and here they are. There are 37 consonant sounds and 13 vowel sounds. Each symbol that you see here represents a single sound determined by the IPA, which is a standardized way to represent sounds without the baggage that's usually involved with traditional letters. By using all of these sounds, you can form every single word in Russian. Have you noticed how most consonant sounds in Russian exist in pairs?
K, Ki, M, Mi.
In each pair, there is the original pronunciation of the consonant sound,
K,
and that same sound, but with an added Y sound.
K.
Nearly all consonant sounds in Russian exist in this kind of pairing. So if you know how to pronounce the original sound, it's quite easy to figure out its counterpart simply by adding an additional Y sound. Still seem complicated? Well, how about this? Of the 37 consonant sounds in Russian, you already know 15 of the original sounds. That's right. If you're a native English speaker, then you already make these sounds every day. You can also ignore 10 of the vowel sounds for the very same reason. With just a tiny bit of effort and creativity, you could effectively ignore 14 more consonant sounds simply by adding a Y sound to the ones that you already know. The only thing standing between you and perfect Russian pronunciation is 8 new consonant sounds and 3 new vowel sounds. You can handle that. Now let me introduce Katya, who will be helping you to master these new sounds.
Привет, меня зовут Катя.
Katya will be giving you native pronunciation examples for you to imitate. But for this first lesson, just sit back and listen to the unique sounds of Russian.
Рыба, горло, река, 3, синий, есть, щетка, щель, цель, отец, чай, часы, жест, тяжелый, дрожжи, езжу, ты, мы, южный, юноша, Россия, молоко.
In the next lesson, we'll look at the top 5 pronunciation mistakes Russian learners make. You'll want to make sure not to fall into these common traps. After that, we'll begin going through the vowels and consonants of Russian. This is your chance to learn how to correctly say all of the words you just heard. We'll finish up the series by covering some special topics that will really make your Russian sound natural. To close this lesson, here's a question for you. Why is it important to spend time on learning proper pronunciation, even if you're already an advanced speaker? The answer, you will be understood, and this will help you build more confidence as you communicate in Russian. For beginners, you're creating a strong foundation to build on. And for more advanced students, this is your chance to improve your accent and lose any bad habits you may have picked up. What is the hardest part of Russian pronunciation? Tell us about it in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 Russian pronunciation mistakes to avoid. These are common mistakes that Russian learners tend to make, so pay close attention and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes too. Are you ready? Then let's get started. This is a rare sound that doesn't exist in many languages. Many Russian learners are unable to pronounce this vowel simply because it's unfamiliar to them. When Russian learners attempt to pronounce this vowel, they tend to pronounce it as
I,
instead of.
I,
This is an issue because the former sound is another vowel in Russian. Consider these 2 words.
бить, быть.
These 2 words sound very similar, but their meanings are completely different. It is essential that you're able to clearly distinguish between the 2 vowels.
I,
The inability to do so could lead to some very problematic misunderstandings. We'll cover this sound in the next lesson. Stay tuned so that you can correct this common mistake. This is another letter that's difficult for Russian learners to deal with. The soft sign is a letter that acts like a modifier. It doesn't produce any sound on its own, but is instead used to affect a preceding letter's sound quality by adding palatalization. The problem arises when speakers pronounce words without paying attention to the tiny soft sign. Compare the following examples. Listen to Katya and pay attention to the way it's pronounced in the following words.
брат, брать, угол, уголь, мать, мат.
Sometimes the soft sign may be the only quality that distinguishes 2 words. As you can see, ignoring the soft sign will undoubtedly lead to miscommunication. But don't worry, we'll teach you all about these sounds and palatalization throughout this series.
Щ,
This is another difficult sound for Russian learners. It should sound similar to the SHCH sound in the words fresh cheese, but a little softer, or like the SH in the words ship or sheep. Be careful though, because it's not the same as the sh in shock. The sh in ship forces the tongue to be raised higher than in words like shock. Listen carefully to the way that Katya pronounces this consonant.
Sh. Sh. Плащ. Щука. Щетка.
Notice how it sounds a little more constricted and tense. It also sounds slightly longer than other consonants. If you want to know how to pronounce this sound correctly, stay tuned until Lesson 6, where we break it down in detail. There are many different ways to construct statements and questions in Russian, either with or without the use of interrogative words like what, why, when, how, and so forth. And because of this fact, things can get quite chaotic when improper intonation is used. Intonation can transform a statement into a question, and vice versa in Russian. Many students of Russian don't pay much attention to intonation. Without the proper intonation, however, it's very difficult for native listeners to judge whether the utterance is a statement or a question. Compare the following examples.
Это музей. Это музей?
The first example is a statement, meaning, this is a museum. The second is a question, meaning, is this a museum? As you can see, changing the intonation alone can change the meaning of a sentence entirely. Improper use of intonation can lead to very problematic communication. Try to pay attention to the way native Russians pronounce sentences and try to imitate them. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it straight away, though, because intonation usually comes naturally the more you study a language.
Й. И.
Many letters in Russian look very similar, and this can be a difficult problem for new learners. This is particularly true for these two letters.
Й.
Is a consonant, and it sounds like the Y sound in boy.
И.
Is actually a vowel, even though it looks very similar to the previous letter. It sounds like the I sound in visa. Consider the following examples.
Мой. Мои. Твой. Твои.
Clearly, failing to recognize these two letters will result in the wrong pronunciation. Try to be mindful of these two letters and other letters that may look alike in Russian. Now you know the top 5 Russian pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Try to be careful so that you don't make these same mistakes. In the next lesson, we'll start learning Russian vowel sounds. What's your biggest challenge with Russian pronunciation? Is it one of these top 5 mistakes? Let us know in the comments. Stick with us and you'll overcome it quickly. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn all 13 Russian vowel sounds. By learning all of these sounds, you'll be able to pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in Russian. Are you ready? Then let's get started. There are a total of 13 vowel sounds in Russian, all of which can be broken down into 3 categories: hard indicating, soft indicating, and unstressed vowel sounds. First, let's take a look at all 5 hard indicating vowel sounds. The first vowel is
А. Да. Атом. Трава.
This vowel sound is identical to the A in far. Be sure to lower your jaw and allow the mouth to open completely.
А. 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 А.
The next vowel is
Это. Экран. Жест.
This vowel sound is identical to the E in education.
Э. 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 Э.
The next vowel is
Ты. Ты. Мы. Язык.
raise the middle part of your tongue all the way to the roof of your mouth until there's only a tiny opening for air to travel through. The back of the tongue should be flat against the back roof of the mouth so that the tongue is tense. Try to create a narrow channel from the base of the throat all the way to the roof of the mouth. Your lips should remain neutral. Listen to Katya.
Y, 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 y.
The next vowel is
О, он, облако, овощи.
This vowel sound is very similar to the O in or. Exaggerating the lip rounding may also help with the pronunciation of this sound.
О, 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 о.
The final hard indicating vowel is
У, удочка, муж, пуля.
This vowel sound is identical to the U in true. Be sure to raise the back part of your tongue all the way up against the back roof of your mouth. Exaggerating your lip rounding may also help with the pronunciation of this sound.
У, 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 у.
You just learned 5 hard indicating vowel sounds. Now let's move on to soft indicating vowel sounds.
Я, яблоко, ягода, яхта.
This is identical to the yaw sound in yard. Be sure to lower your jaw and allow your mouth to open completely.
Я, 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 я.
The next vowel is
Е, есть, евро, ездить.
It sounds very similar to the ye in year.
Е, 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 е.
The next vowel is
И, имя, пить, щи.
It's identical to the double E sound in C.
И, 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 и.
The next vowel is
Ё, тетя, актер, свое.
It sounds very similar to the yo in your.
Ё, 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 ё.
The final soft indicating vowel is
Ю, южный, юбка, юноша.
It sounds very similar to you. Be sure to raise the back part of your tongue all the way up against the back roof of your mouth. Exaggerating your lip rounding may also help with the pronunciation of this sound.
Ю, 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 ю.
Well done! You've learned all the hard and soft indicating vowels in Russian. The final 3 vowel sounds are sounds that are only produced when certain vowels are in unstressed syllables. The first vowel sound that occurs in unstressed syllables is
А. Россия, молоко, вода.
This is similar to the U in Russell. The key part here is to pronounce it quickly.
А, 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 а,
The next vowel sound is
а. Облако, новая, кожа,
It's identical to the A in about. When practicing, make sure you pronounce it about instead of about.
а, 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 а,
The final sound that occurs in unstressed syllables and the final vowel sound for this lesson is
Е, еда, язык, дерево,
it's identical to the YI in yippee. The key part here is to pronounce it quickly.
Е, 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 Е.
Well done! You've just learned all 13 vowel sounds in Russian. With these sounds, you can pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in the Russian language. Isn't that great? Which vowel sound was the most difficult for you to pronounce? Let us know in the comments. In the next lesson, you'll start learning consonant sounds. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn 11 Russian consonant sounds.
Б, Б, Д, Д, Ф, Ф, Г, Г, Е, К, К.
Have you noticed how most consonant sounds are in pairs? That's because in Russian, consonants can be classified as either a hard or a soft consonant based on palatalization. We'll learn more about hard and soft consonants and palatalization in Lesson 7. For now, just focus primarily on pronouncing each of these sounds properly. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
Б, бок, небо,
it sounds like the B in the word by.
Б, 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 Б,
And here's the soft version.
Б, беглый, воробей,
This is almost like saying a B and a Y sound at the same time. To produce the soft versions of a consonant, raise the middle part of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, as if you're about to say the word yeah, and try to pronounce it alongside the consonant. Speakers of English can sometimes produce this sound when they say the word beautiful.
Б, 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 Б,
The next consonant is
Д, дом, дверь,
like the D in the word dad, except in Russian the D sounds a little heavier. Stress this consonant more than you would in English by flattening the tip and the blade of your tongue behind the back of your teeth.
Д, 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 Д,
And here's the soft version.
Д, делать, Владимир,
Pronounce the D sound like you did before, but remember to raise your tongue to the roof of your mouth to produce a slight Y sound alongside it. Try to pronounce it at the same time or immediately after pronouncing the consonant. You can sometimes pronounce this sound by saying the word adieu.
Д, 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 Д,
The next consonant is
Ф, фата, орфография,
like the F in the word find.
Ф, 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 Ф,
And here's the soft version.
Ф, фея, Fjord.
Some English speakers can pronounce this sound when saying the word few.
F. 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 F.
The next consonant is
Г. Говорю. Другой.
like the G in the word good.
Г. 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 Г.
And here's the soft version.
Ги. Гербарий. Ноги.
It's similar to the G in the word argue.
Ги. 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 Ги.
The next consonant is
Й. Май. Йог.
like the Y in the word yes.
Й. 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 Й.
The next consonant is
К. Кость. Книга.
like the K in the word kangaroo.
К. 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 К.
The final consonant for this lesson is
К. Кино. Кимоно.
it's similar to the C in the word cute.
К. 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 К.
Well done! You just learned your first 11 Russian consonants. Was seeing the pronunciation illustrations helpful? Please comment and share your thoughts. In the next lesson, you'll learn 14 more consonant sounds in Russian. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn 14 Russian consonant sounds.
Л. Л. М. М. Н. Н. П. Пи. Р. Ри. С. С. Ш. Щ.
Nearly half of these consonant sounds are identical to the ones in English. So if you know English, some of them will already be familiar to you. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
Л. Луна. Лук.
it's like the L in the word look, except in Russian the L sounds a little heavier. Stress this consonant more than you would in English by flattening the tip and the blade of your tongue behind the back of your teeth.
Л. 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 Л.
And here's the soft version.
Л. Лес. Колено.
This is almost like saying an L and a Y sound at the same time. Attempt to pronounce an L sound with the tip of your tongue touching the bottom teeth. The front part of your tongue should cause an obstruction with your upper teeth, while the center part of your tongue should be raised to the roof of your mouth. Listen to Katya.
Л. 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 Л.
The next consonant is
М. Мыло. Там.
like the M in the word mouse.
М. 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 М.
And here's the soft version.
Ми. мясо, мел,
Some English speakers can produce this sound by saying the word mute.
ми, 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 ми,
The next consonant is
н, нос, он,
like the N in the word nice, except in Russian the N sounds a little heavier. Stress this consonant more than you would in English by flattening the tip and the blade of your tongue against the back of your teeth. The tip of your tongue should touch your bottom teeth, while the front of your tongue should touch your upper teeth.
н, 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 н,
And here's the soft version.
не, няня, они,
This is identical to the previous N sound, but with the middle part of your tongue raised to the roof of your mouth. It's a little bit like the N in the word newt.
не, 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 не,
The next consonant is
п, пыль, скрип,
like the P in the word pipe.
п, 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 п,
And here's the soft version.
пи, пепел, пить,
This is almost like saying a P and a Y sound at the same time. As you bring your lips together to pronounce the P sound, raise the middle part of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and release. Listen to Katya.
пи, 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 пи,
The next consonant is
р, рыба, горло,
This is also known as a rolled R or a Spanish R. Contact the gums directly behind your top teeth with the tip of your tongue, build pressure behind the gums, and release. The small passage created by the gums and the tongue should open and close rapidly, as if your tongue is fluttering or vibrating against the gums. It almost sounds like a rapid D sound. When you build up pressure behind the tip of the tongue, rapidly brush the tip up and back against the gum ridge. As you do so, you should feel a vibrating sensation behind your gum ridge. It's like striking your gum ridge and then again behind the gum ridge with the tip of your tongue in one quick up and back motion. Listen to Katya.
р, 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 р,
And here's the soft version.
ре, река, три,
This is exactly like the previous sound, but with the blade of your tongue raised to the roof of your mouth.
ре, 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 ре,
The next consonant is
с, собака, нос,
like the S in the word sand.
с, 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 с,
And here's the soft version.
с, синий, осьминог,
Some English speakers can produce this sound when saying the word assume.
с, 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 с,
The next consonant is
ш, шарф, шутка,
This is similar to the sh sound in the word sure. Compared to English, however, the sh sound is much harsher in Russian. The easiest way to pronounce this sound properly is to first try and pronounce an R sound. Your tongue should be curled up behind your gum ridge as opposed to being in front of it. Now, with your tongue in that position, try to make a sh sound at the same time. Practice with the word sure repeatedly in this manner.
Sh, 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 sh.
And the final consonant for this lesson is
Sh. Щетка. Щель.
This is another sh sound that's comparable to the sh sound in the English word ship. Unlike English, however, which uses the tip of the tongue, Russian requires you to use the middle part of your tongue to approximate the region behind the gum ridge. The center of the tongue should be raised to the roof of the mouth to cause a narrow channel from the throat, all the way to the teeth. Round and protrude your lips. Also, you'll need to emphasize this sound by holding it longer than you would normally with other sounds.
Sh. 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 Sh.
Well done! You just learned another 14 Russian consonants. Are there more familiar sounds than you expected? Let us know if you have questions in the comments. In the next lesson, you'll learn 12 more consonant sounds. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the final 12 Russian consonant sounds.
T. T. C. Ч. В. В. Х. Х. Z. Z. Ž. Ž.
Nearly half of these consonant sounds are identical to the ones in English. So if you know English, some of them will already be familiar to you. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
Т. Тот. Читаю.
This is like the T in the word take, except in Russian, the T sounds a little heavier. Stress this consonant more than you would in English by flattening the tip and blade of the tongue against the upper teeth. The tip of the tongue should touch the lower teeth, while the front part of the tongue should be touching the upper teeth.
Т. 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 Т.
And here's the soft version.
Т. Читать. Дитя.
This is almost like saying a T and a Y sound at the same time. Try to pronounce the previous T sound while keeping the middle part of your tongue close to the roof of your mouth. Listen to Katya.
Т. 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 Т.
The next consonant is
Ц. Цель. Отец.
This consonant sound is like a combination of a T and an S sound. It starts off as a T sound, but ends with an S sound. You can pronounce this sound by saying cats or tsunami.
Ц. 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 Ц.
The next consonant is
Ч. Чай. Часы.
This is similar to the ch sound in church. Unlike English, however, which focuses on the tip of the tongue contacting the gum ridge, the Russian ch sound uses the blade of the tongue to contact the area behind the gum ridge, closer to the roof of the mouth. This should produce a narrow channel from your throat all the way to the back part of the gum ridge. Protrude your lips as you pronounce this sound.
Ч. 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 Ч.
The next consonant is
В. Ваш. Давать.
like the V in veal.
В. 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 В.
And here's the soft version.
В. вести, человек,
Some English speakers can pronounce this sound when saying the word view.
в, 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 в,
The next consonant is
х, ходить, ухо,
This is exactly like a prolonged K sound. The trick is to attempt to pronounce a K sound, but as your tongue and the back roof of the mouth make contact, slowly blow a constant stream of air through the opening until you get a turbulent sound. The key is to blow the air through the opening without cutting off the airstream completely or allowing it to pass through unobstructed. It's the same as the CH sound in words like yech, bach, or Loch Ness.
х, 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 х,
And here's the soft version.
х, химия, Houston,
This is identical to the previous sound, but with the middle part of the tongue raised to the roof of the mouth.
х, 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 х,
The next consonant is
з, заяц, язык,
This is like the Z in zoo, except in Russian the tongue is positioned lower. The tip of the tongue should rest behind the bottom teeth, while the blade of the tongue makes contact with the top teeth.
з, 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 з,
And here's the soft version.
з, зеленый, озеро,
This is identical to the previous sound, but with the middle part of the tongue raised to the roof of the mouth.
з, 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 з,
The next consonant is
ж, жест, тяжелый,
It's similar to the S in words like measure or pleasure. Unlike English, however, the tip of the tongue should be further back in the mouth. The tip of your tongue should be curled up behind the gum ridge as opposed to being in front of it.
ж, 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 ж,
The final consonant sound is
ж, дрожжи, заезжать,
This is similar to the previous sound, but instead of curling the tip of your tongue behind the gum ridge, try using the blade of your tongue instead. Also, you'll need to emphasize this sound by holding it longer than you would normally with other sounds.
ж, 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 ж.
Well done! You just learned another 12 Russian consonants. We've covered every single sound that could possibly appear in the Russian language. You can now properly pronounce anything in Russian. Isn't that great? How difficult were they to learn? Please comment and share your thoughts. In the next lesson, you'll learn about palatalization in Russian. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn about Russian palatalization. It is imperative that you get a firm understanding of the content in this lesson because palatalization is a major component of Russian. Consonant sounds in Russian are heavily influenced by their neighboring sounds. There are many instances where a letter's pronunciation will change based on the sounds that follow it. There are generally two ways of pronouncing a consonant letter in Russian: hard,
К,
or soft.
К,
The hard version is said to be non-palatalized, while the soft version is said to be palatalized. But what is palatalization? Palatalization refers to a way of pronouncing a consonant in which part of the tongue, usually the middle part, known as the blade of the tongue, moves closer to the roof of the mouth. When this happens, a Y-like sound quality is added to the consonant sound. Notice how in the previous example, the hard version sounded like an English K sound,
К,
while the soft version, although still sounding like a K sound, has an added Y-like quality to it.
К.
That's because the tongue lays flat in the hard version, but is raised in the soft version. This difference in tongue positioning is the sole factor that determines the hardness or softness of a consonant, and this is what we refer to as palatalization. Now you know the difference between a hard and a soft consonant, but which pronunciation should you use, and when? Enter these two Russian letters, the hard sign and the soft sign. These two Russian letters are special because they do not produce any sounds on their own. Instead, they modify the sound that precedes them. As you might have guessed, the hard sign indicates that you must pronounce the preceding consonant as hard or non-palatalized, while the soft sign indicates that you must pronounce the preceding consonant as soft or palatalized.
B. Объект. B. Björk.
Simple, right? But these two letters aren't the only ones that can modify a consonant's pronunciation. Vowels, too, can change the hardness or softness of a preceding consonant. Similar to consonants, there are also hard and soft varieties of vowels. Unlike consonants, however, each hard and soft vowel is represented by a letter, so they don't require the use of modifiers like the hard or soft sign to indicate their pronunciation. We can categorize them as hard indicating vowels and soft indicating vowels. Like consonants, palatalization works the same way for vowels.
A. Я. О. Ё.
Okay, let's review what we've learned so far. We know that two special letters and all vowels have the ability to determine the palatalization of a preceding consonant. These letters will make the pronunciation of a preceding consonant hard, and all of these letters will make the pronunciation of a preceding consonant soft. Now consider this example. Using the chart to assist you, try to guess the proper pronunciation for this word. The first letter is a vowel. Using the chart, we can see that it's a hard vowel, so it'll be pronounced hard.
О.
The second letter is a consonant. Will this be the hard or soft pronunciation? The hard sign here indicates that it's a hard consonant, so it'll also be pronounced hard.
B.
Next is a vowel. It's a soft vowel, so it'll be pronounced soft.
Е.
The letter after that is a consonant. How would this consonant be pronounced? As you can see, we've run into a slight problem. There's no sign to indicate whether it's hard or soft, and the letter after that isn't a vowel either. So how is this consonant meant to be pronounced? The answer is hard. Consonant clusters, meaning a group of consonants that do not have an intervening vowel like this one, take on the palatalization quality of the final consonant in that cluster. Look at the KT consonant cluster in this example. The K and any preceding consonants in that cluster will take on the palatalization quality of the final letter in that cluster, in this case, T. The reason that the T has a hard pronunciation, even though no vowel or modifier is apparent, is because the hard sign is omitted. In modern times, the hard sign is often omitted, particularly at the end of a word. Words which would have had the hard sign at the end in the past are omitted in the present day. This would mean that unless the final letter ends with a soft sign or a vowel, all consonants in the final position will be pronounced hard. Since the T is hard, the K must also be pronounced hard as well. If the T had been soft, the pronunciation of all consonants that precede the T in that cluster must also be pronounced soft. Unlike the hard sign, however, the soft sign is never omitted. In this example, then, the final two letters are pronounced with the hard pronunciation.
Kt.
Altogether,
Объект.
now you know all the rules about Russian palatalization. See if you can guess the pronunciation of the following words. The first one is
Мат.
This vowel is a hard vowel, which indicates that the first consonant must also be pronounced hard. The final consonant doesn't have any signs or vowels following it, so it too must be pronounced hard.
Мат.
What about this one?
Мать.
This vowel is a hard vowel, which indicates that the first consonant must also be pronounced hard. The final letter is a soft sign, which indicates that the consonant preceding it must also be pronounced soft.
Мать.
Here's the last one.
Нести.
The first vowel is a soft vowel, which indicates that the first consonant must be pronounced soft. Next, we have a consonant cluster, and finally, a vowel. Since the final vowel is a soft vowel, we must pronounce the preceding consonant and all consonants in that cluster as soft.
Нести.
Well done! In this lesson, you learned about Russian palatalization. In the next lesson, you'll learn about voicing in Russian. How did you do on the quiz? Please share your results in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In the previous lesson, we saw how neighboring sounds can influence a consonant's pronunciation through palatalization. In this lesson, we'll explore how neighboring sounds can influence a consonant's voicing. But what is voicing? Voicing is a term used to characterize the vibration or lack of vibration of the vocal cords during the articulation of a given sound. A sound can be categorized into two classifications, voiced or voiceless. A voiced sound is one in which the vocal cords vibrate. A voiceless sound is one in which the vocal cords do not vibrate. Consider these English sounds. Did you know that a relationship exists between these pairs of sounds? P, b, f, v, s, z, t, d, k, g. Each pair differs only in their voicing. All the sounds on the left side are voiceless, while all the sounds on the right are voiced. Touch your throat and produce an S sound. Now try a Z sound. Notice how your throat vibrates when you produce a Z sound, but does not vibrate when you produce an S sound. In fact, the mouth and tongue positions between an S and a Z sound are exactly the same. The only thing that differs between them is the vibration of the vocal cords, and this is what we refer to as voicing. Now that you understand what voicing is, let's bring our attention back to Russian. The Russian language has a tendency to devoice final consonants. Consider the following examples.
Зуб. Город.
Notice how in the first example, the final consonant letter, which would normally be pronounced as a B sound, is actually pronounced as a P sound, so it sounds voiceless instead. Listen to it again.
Зуб.
The final consonant letter in the second example, which would normally be pronounced as a D sound, is actually pronounced as a T sound.
Город.
What about this word? Can you guess what pronunciation the final consonant has in this word? This consonant usually produces a V sound, but since it's in the final position, we must devoice it to get the proper pronunciation. Doing this will cause the V sound to change into an F sound, which is indeed the proper pronunciation for this word.
Строганов.
Some voicing rules also apply to consonant clusters. Remember the palatalization rules for consonant clusters from the previous lesson? Well, voicing rules apply in exactly the same way as palatalization rules when it comes to consonant clusters. The final element in the cluster will determine if the whole cluster is either voiced or voiceless. In other words, if the final consonant of a cluster is voiced, all preceding consonants in that cluster must also be voiced.
Т. Тб. Футбол.
And if the final consonant of a cluster is unvoiced, all preceding consonants in that cluster must also be unvoiced.
Д. ДК. Водка.
Keep in mind that the spelling itself does not change, only the pronunciation. Some letters, however, have no effect on a preceding consonant's voicing. Notice how all of these voiced letters do not make any of the preceding voiceless consonants become voiced.
Л. Пл. Плен. М. См. Смех. Н. Кн. Кнопка. Р. Тр. Три. В. Кв. Квартира.
Remember that these are the exceptions. Voicing rules will apply for all letters except these 5 specifically. In this lesson, you learned about voicing in Russian. In the next lesson, you'll learn about stress and vowel reduction. Are there any voicing rules that you know of in your language? Share them in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn about stress and vowel reduction. Stress refers to the prominence or relative emphasis placed on certain syllables in a word. When you say the word unbelievable, for example, do you notice how the li is accentuated? That's because it's pronounced longer and louder than any other syllable, and this is what we refer to as stress. Consider the word for flour in Russian.
Мука.
Notice how the final syllable is emphasized.
Мука.
If we were to stress the first syllable instead,
Мука.
the meaning changes completely, and we get a new word.
Мука.
Both words are exactly identical. The only thing that differs between them, however, is their stress. As you can see, the incorrect placement of stress can lead to dire misunderstanding. Therefore, it's incredibly important to recognize where the stress is placed when learning a new word. See if you can guess where the stress is placed in the following examples.
Тревога. Тревожный. Тревожить.
Did you get it? The stress is placed consistently on the second vowel. What about these two words?
Земля. Приземистый.
The stress is on the final vowel in the first example, but moves to the root of the word in the second example. Here's the last one.
Чувство. Чувственный. Чувствительный.
Did you get it right? In each of the examples shown, each set shares the same root word. The stress may remain on one syllable in one example, but can shift unpredictably in another example. Unfortunately, this is true for most words in Russian. The stress placement is very random and will change from word to word. While there are stress rules in Russian, they are often so complex and littered with exceptions that you cannot reliably use them. The only surefire way to ensure that you stress the right syllable is to check with a dictionary that indicates stress, or better yet, listen to native speakers and imitate how they say it. Now that you've learned about stress in Russian, let's move on to vowel reduction. Vowel reduction is the weakening of a vowel via a decrease in volume, a shortening of the duration, or a change in the articulation of the vowel, causing it to become less prominent. Due to this weakening, the pronunciation and therefore the sound of the vowel itself will change. Consider this English example. It's pronounced about. But in many dialects, or during rapid speech, it'll often be pronounced about. This is a perfect example demonstrating the reduction of the letter A. Less energy is required to produce an a sound than it is to produce an a sound because your tongue is in the center, rest position, as opposed to the a sound, which requires you to open and widen your mouth. While this may not seem like very much, in situations where the tongue has to move from one corner of the mouth to the opposing corner, it can become very tiresome and impractical for everyday speech. Just imagine how unnatural it would be talking to someone who insists on enunciating every single letter. Okay, now that you have a sense of what vowel reduction is, let's bring our attention back to Russian. In Russian, vowels will tend to undergo reduction if they are part of an unstressed syllable. This means that for vowels that are in unstressed syllables, the tongue becomes lazy and will want to stay closer to the center of the mouth, and so the vowel sound will change accordingly. But don't worry, we already covered every single vowel sound in Lesson 3. So if you've been studying properly, then you already know how to pronounce all of these sounds. And since you learned about stress in this lesson, identifying the unstressed syllables should be easy. The good news is that a handful of Russian vowels will remain unchanged, so these rules will not apply to them. We have 4 reduction rules in Russian. Rule number 1. When unstressed,
О.
will sound like
А.
if it's in the syllable immediately before the stressed syllable.
Окно. Москва.
Notice how it's pronounced differently than the way it's spelt.
Окно. Москва.
Keep in mind that this only applies if the vowel appears in the syllable immediately before the stressed syllable. Rule number 2. When unstressed,
Е. Я.
will sound like
И. Е.
Listen to a few examples.
Мечта. Сестра.
Rule number 3. When unstressed,
О. А.
will sound like
А.
in any unstressed syllable that isn't the one immediately before the stressed syllable.
Крепко. Лампа.
Last one. Rule number 4. When unstressed,
Е. Я.
will sound like
Е.
in some noun endings and these forms of adjective endings.
Дядя. Номер. Новая.
In this lesson, you learned about stress and vowel reduction in Russian. In the next lesson, we'll review everything that we learned in this series and test you on the material. Can you think of any vowel reductions in your language? Share it in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Russian Pronunciation Guide. You've made it to the last lesson. Do you feel more confident about speaking in Russian now? In this last lesson, we'll wrap things up by quizzing you on the material that we've covered in this series. Make sure to practice out loud with this lesson. You know all the parts and pieces, but can you speak Russian with a natural accent? If you've been quiet up until now, be sure to speak out loud with Katya. Are you ready? Let's go. You probably knew this word before you started this series, but do you know how to pronounce it correctly? Give it a shot.
Щетка.
Did you pronounce this sound correctly? It should sound similar to sheep, but instead of using the tip of the tongue, use the middle part of the tongue to create the sh sound. Also, it should be pronounced further back behind your gum ridge with the middle part of your tongue raised to the roof of your mouth. Listen to Katya again.
Щетка.
We covered this sound back in lesson 5. Let's move on to the next one. How would you pronounce these words?
Отъезд. Тьма.
Did you use the proper hard and soft pronunciations for each consonant? Listen to it again.
Отъезд. Тьма.
The T in the first example uses a hard pronunciation due to the hard sign, while the second uses the soft pronunciation because of the soft sign. We covered hard and soft consonants and palatalization in lesson 7. What about these words?
Лев. Клуб.
Did you remember to devoice the final consonant? The final consonant in the first example should be pronounced as an F, while the second should be pronounced as a P. Many Russian words have a tendency to devoice the final consonant, so don't be fooled. They are pronounced differently than how they are spelled. Listen to it again.
Лев. Клуб.
We covered voicing rules back in lesson 8. Here's the last one.
Вода.
Could you identify which syllable was stressed? If so, you would have identified that this vowel's pronunciation changes when it appears before the stressed syllable. This is rule number 1 of vowel reduction in Russian, which we learned about in the previous lesson. Listen to it again.
Вода.
How did it go? Do you feel like you have a better accent than you did at the beginning of this series? What parts of Russian pronunciation are still difficult for you? Good luck as you continue learning Russian. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.